What is up, YouTube? If you guys got to watch the latest video, it was the interior install for the S10, and I had some things I learned that I wanted to publish this quick video right after I put this dash in, so that if many of you are working on your dash or the interior, that some of these tricks might help you guys. So I got some things in the truck, and we're going to look at some of the things in the truck that I learned, and I'll show you. So let me get you turned around. I've got some props here. The first thing I learned, one of the subscribers said, man, I had no idea about putting all your screws in a bag and labeling them. So that's number one, is bag your screws. It takes a little longer initially when you start taking something apart to label, but when you go to put it back together, it is going to save you that much time tenfold when you start trying to locate screws, if they're just in a box or if they're thrown around in the floor, trying to dig up the right screw, putting the wrong screw in the hole. So label your screws, put them in these are little Ziploc bags. They got a little white place here for you to write on. This actually had to be was the vent screws, and that was actually for these screws up here that went in the vents. Now you got to be aware that sometimes you may have vents, you call these vents and you think they have screws or something else that has a similar name. So be sure when you label it that you have the same process when you put it back, because sometimes I noticed in my video yesterday, what I posted last night, I was calling this the heater box and all this the heater box. Well, actually it's the ductwork to the heater box and the AC, but I think you guys kind of get the gist. And plus, another thing, lesson number 2 is take photos. I can't tell you how many photos I took of this dash when I took it out, which helped me tremendously, especially when I went to put the ECM, engine control module, up inside of the dash over here. If I hadn't had those photos, there's a bracket, and the way it fits in there, it was really frustrating, and that's why I turned the camera back off and said, hey guys, I did some things off camera, and then come back to you, is because I was having trouble with some things. So, one, label your screws. You can even label them with the pictures. So if you start out with bag number 1, vent screws, that's the first thing you take out, then take a picture. And on your camera roll, that first picture should line up with the first bag, and so on and so forth. Just catalog it that way. The second thing I learned is when I was trying to put these cover panels in, since I had new carpet and I put that kill mat inside the floor, it had raised up the floor a little bit, and these screw holes weren't lining up. That was a pain. So I had these cheap tools. They come 4 to a pack from Harbor Freight. They're pick tools. There's a straight, there's a curve, a 90, all kind. There's just different shapes of these pick tools. So I got the straight pointed one, and I would stick it into my plastic cover, and I would feel until I found the screw hole, and I would pull my panel over until it lined up and hold it with my hand and get one screw started. And once I got one started, I was close to the other holes. I could feel around, move it, get the other one started. So buy you a set of these pick tools. They're probably less than $3 at Harbor Freight. Another thing, when I used those in the floor seal down here, seeing this was new carpet, I'll show you. Since this was all new carpet right here and didn't have any holes in it, I also used it to locate these holes. And the way I did that was I took my pick tool and I went underneath the truck and I come up through the hole, and I would have about this much of the pick sticking up through here, and I sit my seal plates, my threshold covers, whatever you want to call them, I set them right down over this where this was sticking up. And then I would pull it down and start my screw. I'd go to the next hole, go up under the floor, push it through the hole in this, start my screw. And once you get two screws started, your other ones pretty much line up, even though I did go ahead and punch the other 2 as well. The other thing I did, I'll show you, you can see it down here in the floor, is when you have questionable measurements on trying to locate holes. Now this is for the other side of the truck, but I'm going to show you here. I'm going to raise this seat up. And we'll get down in here and look. So you can see those 2 screws back in behind They go in this plastic cover. Well, trying to locate those became a real pain. Let me get this light situated. So what I did is I made a template like this for the right and left side. And basically, I'll flip it over. It should kind of match up to the right side. What I did was I stuck it to the back of the truck, and I made me a mark on the wall, and I would line it up with this mark on here. And I punched the big hole for the seat belt. So if you slide it over and kind of imagine, the seat belt hole goes through there. When I laid this down, the other two holes, I had those marked on this cardboard. So when I came in here and punched the hole for the carpet, because it's a big hole, it's easy to find. So when I would punch the hole for this cardboard, through this cardboard for the seatbelt hole, then all I had to do is use my little pick tool to punch through and find those two. And once I did that, I could mark it with a silver Sharpie on this black carpet. And when I put everything in here and push these back, all I had to do is get right over that silver mark and put my screws in. So that's that's number 4. Number 5 is, if you guys have been with me since I started this YouTube channel, you know that when I started remodeling the interior of this truck, I had all this out. I had to replace some of the steel in the floor here on both sides of the where the seat belts are at. And I was doing a lot of grinding and cutting in here, and I didn't think anything about it. Well, prior to pulling the truck in here, I put a brand new windshield in the truck, thinking I was going to drive it for a while. And I was, until I found the rusted spots. I thought, you know what, I'll fix those. So with all the cutting, grinding, and welding in here, I'm going to hold it up. Can you see all those fleeks in the windshield? I have ruined over a $200 windshield. I can't remember what I paid to get the windshield put in, but it was expensive. I say expensive. It's $250. Not that expensive, but I don't want to spend $250 on replacing the windshield when I could have easily covered it up and saved it. So that was the 5 lessons learned that I had in installing this interior in the truck. So number 1, again, bag your screws, label them. Number 2, take photos and videos of everything you're doing so that when you go back, especially like me, you know, I was sick. I had the dash out of this thing for over 6 months, so you forget a lot. Use pick tools. Use small screwdrivers to line up your holes for your screws, to get your panels. I don't like drilling a bunch of holes, so that's why I did that. You know. Number 3, make patterns. If you're unsure of where holes are at, find you a location, make you a cardboard template, and punch holes in it. It will line back up, I promise you. You'll have success with this. I did, and I'm sure you'll have success with it as well. And number 5, if you're going to be doing grinding and cutting in your truck, cover up your windshield, cover up your glass. Luckily, I did not. Luckily, I didn't damage my side windows or my back glass. They are still okay, but my windshield is going to eventually have to be replaced. I'm sure when I get it out in the sunshine, I'll be able to see all those little sparkles and cracks and stuff in the windshield. But I wanted to get this video out, you know, right after the dash video, just to clarify some stuff that I learned and pass it along to some of you that may be new to the automotive, you know, working on your cars yourself, doing things like this, and some guys that may have been doing it for years that may not know. Not trying to insult your intelligence on anything, just sharing my thoughts. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe. Again, our next video is going to be putting the weather stripping in the doors, and I'm going to try to get that out this week and get it out to you guys. And then we'll do the Enduro pins following, and I've got some more content coming. So stay tuned, subscribe, hit that subscribe button right now, and I'll catch you guys in the next upload.